So today I've actually got quite an interesting one, and I say interesting because it doesn't smell exactly like I thought it would originally. I've given it, a handful of wearings at this point, test sprays and so on. And I'm finally ready to give you my full thoughts on Lacoste L.12.12 Blanc, also known as Lacoste White, the Eau de Parfum flanker. So stay tuned. As per usual, we'll take a quick look at the box. So, standard for the L.12.12 line. It does have name of the fragrance, concentration. There is that texturing in the box that's on the bottle. Shows a Lacoste shirt, some detailing on the bottom, QR code on the side, nothing here. Some more fragrance information with a barcode on the bottom, Lacoste on the top. Then, nothing special here. In regards to the bottle, you do have that texturing up front that I was talking about on the box. This was on the side of the bottle. For the original, you still have the embroidered patch of the Lacoste gator. I mean, obviously it's glued on, but it is an embroidery patch. Was made on a sewing machine. It does have Lacoste etched into the top of the cap, which is made of plastic. Fragrance information on the bottom. Nothing on the sides. It's just smooth white glass all the way around. Does hold into place. Now what's different with this one is it has a gunmetal atomizer and collar, which I do like that color, and decent atomizer spray. Let's get into the scent. So I'll have the notes on screen for you guys, but the easiest way to sum up what this smells like is in the opening. It has some remnants of Coach Blue, this bright lime smell, because there's a finger lime note in here. You will get reminded a little bit of the original Lacoste White. This is the Eau de Toilette, the original. This is known for its beautiful smooth grapefruit, whereas with this one it does have the astringent qualities of some sharp grapefruit, but it's not really a grapefruit smell. It's kind of this sharp finger lime type of smell. And as the heart in transition starts to take over, I find it resembles EDT from YSL quite a bit. So an interesting amalgamation of fragrances to compare to. I feel like it's got a little of all three of these in it. So like I was saying, I get a little bit of the original Eau de Toilette Lacoste White with Coach Blue up top. More so Coach Blue because it's more lime than grapefruit, but it does kind of have somewhat of a grapefruit smell, though not in the note breakdown. And then as it starts to dry, eucalyptus, a little bit of cardamom really take over this fragrance. There's this kind of almost mothball mintiness. I know that kind of sounds weird, but not heavy, not overpowering mothball smell to where it's off-putting. I know saying mothballs immediately is an off-putting thing to state, especially for a description of a scent, but it's ever so faint. Eucalyptus is known to kind of bring that type of mintiness to a fragrance. That's why it can be off-putting for a lot of people. I actually don't mind it when it's done right. It's okay. What's different here with this one is it has this synthetic, salty, aquatic type of smell to it, though nowhere in the note breakdown. And I wouldn't necessarily consider it an aquatic fragrance completely, but it has an aquatic appeal, and kind of a little bit of the scent profile borrows itself to being an aquatic fragrance. And in the dry down, it's your standard, woody smell. It still has a little bit of that aquatic nature. It's got a lot of green notes in the fragrance, but I don't find it to be a very green fragrance. I find it's more of a light blue type of fragrance, which fits into all the comparison fragrances I just showed you a few moments ago. Coach Blue, EDT, stuff like that. I find it more in the light blue genre than a green fragrance, considering all the actual green notes in the note breakdown with some lime, eucalyptus, cardamom, pine, stuff like that. You would think very green, but it's actually faintly green. And it does smell pretty good, though on the more synthetic side. I would say even more so synthetic than the original Eau de Toilette. It does smell really good. Let's get into performance. So on this one, with it being an Eau de Parfum flanker, you would think they would have ramped up the performance a bit. I actually get about the same performance I get out the EDT, which is the 5 to 6 hour range. Now, some people may get a little bit more, some may get a little bit less. I get kind of what's in the sweet spot of I would consider a light scent profile, a fresh fragrance, somewhere in that 5 to 6 hour range. I'm totally fine with that. It's not an increase in performance for me from the Eau de Toilette, which I was fine with the performance of the Eau de Toilette, and they do smell different enough to where I don't think it's redundant to have both, with this being more synthetic and aquatic, and the original being more smooth, floral, with a touch of leather in the base. but this still is a great fragrance nonetheless, and one that I believe you should check out if performance isn't the utmost important. If you don't need an 8+ hour fresh fragrance and you're cool with the 5 to 6 hour range, you may really get some use out of Lacoste White EDP. Overall, I would say this isn't a must try, but it is a very pleasant fragrance. If I had to put a number on this one, I would say it's a solid 6 out of 10 fragrance. You know, a good fragrance, not quite a very good fragrance. You know, something enjoyable, something fresh, something that a lot of people will enjoy. It's very mass appealing in that manner. Mass appealing fragrances, they're going to work for the masses, hence how the name implies. It's nice. It can definitely garner some compliments, I'm sure. I personally, in the few wearings I've given it, have not received a compliment on it, but it does have that style DNA where up in the air, it is lovely. It will attract people to you. I'm not going to say most of the time, but I would say this is a heightened probability for a chance at a compliment with this type of scent profile. Well, that's my thoughts and feelings on Lacoste White EDP, and until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. How many of you have already tried this? This is not what I expected. I expected a more intense or a richer version of the original, because the original is a great designer fragrance. The original I would give a 7.5 out of 10. That's definitely a better fragrance from scent alone. I would say if you're picking between the two, go with the EDT. I think that's a better fragrance. But if you like the fresher, more aquatic feel to that type of scent, then you're going to want to go with the EDP. If you're interested in getting your hands on this, there's a link for Kingdom Fragrance down below. Steve does have some of them in stock for a fantastic price. Until next time, I will say if you get your hands on the EDP of Lacoste White and you give it a spray now, you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.